Hey guys, I am blessed to finally be recording my video as I pursued option B, which was evaluating a compassion ministry at a local church. In this case, I looked at an organization in my own church, Christian Fellowship Church. It's brand new, it's called the Baby Bank. Now, the Baby Bank actually operates as an auxiliary arm of the Caring Network, which is a pro-life organization. And what the Baby Bank in particular does is primarily provide material relief to women with vulnerable pregnancies, whether they're women who were considering an abortion, are still considering adoption, they're just below the poverty line, they're struggling somehow to find resources to care for their future child, their current children, up to toddler age. The job of the Baby Bank is just to make sure that their needs are met, and on a more abstract level, but equally important, that they have a sense of relational community about them, and to really combat the stereotypical narrative of the church being pro-birth, meaning that they will stop caring after someone chooses to have a baby rather than have an abortion, as opposed to pro-life, which seeks flourishing in all aspects of life in all stages. In this case, both for pregnant mothers and for mothers who have had kids and their kids themselves. The Baby Bank had previously been working with an organization that was designed to come alongside one-on-one with some women in the community as they went completely through their pregnancies. But that was absorbed by a megachurch. One of the principles that we kept from that was a comfortability with small sizes. Now, rather than being one-on-one now, this is about 15 to 20 women who are vetted by the Caring Network, specifically attached to the closest pregnancy clinic. They go from Avenue Pregnancy Clinic over to our bank in Itasca. And the importance of the vetting there is that people are able to see, okay, where will these, whether they're funds or funds eventually translating into materials like diapers and formulas, where will these do the most good, and to whom will they do the most good? Who is in a state where they will be affected for the better, for the long term by this. And I think that's something that Corbett and Fickert really, from When Helping Hurts, is something that they really emphasize, that it's important to have local organizations be able to vet. If we were simply handing out aid to anyone who asked for it, that could potentially keep resources from those who need it most. So there are all kinds of women who are coming in. There are a couple who are in their 30s. They're about to have their 6th kid. They don't know if they can afford it. So they've considered abortion. They've come to the clinic, and the clinic has worked with them, and then eventually, for meeting their material needs, has sent them to us. We have women who are refugees coming from some of the areas of the Middle East. We have some immigrants from Pakistan who come and they seek material support simply because it's difficult for them to afford at this time, even if they're not pursuing thoughts of abortion. There are also some moms who are looking for nutritional materials for themselves as they consider whether they want to keep their children or give them up for adoption. So, as I said, one of the real positives is vetting. Another real positive is small size. These women who are volunteers bi-weekly, there are also a few male volunteers, but by and large, they're women, are able to really engage in a ratio that's often 3-to-1, but sometimes 2-to-1, one-on-one. I've seen 1-to-2 even, with 2 volunteers just trying to come alongside these women. It's been amazing to see how they have worked together on a very relational level, and one that just abolishes paternalism, because it becomes sharing. it helps that a number of the volunteers actually are, whether they were the product of unplanned pregnancies themselves or whether they had unplanned pregnancies of their own, whether they were in financially vulnerable positions, the fact that there are community members who are now coming back to help with the baby bank is really helpful in allowing these women to connect and feel like they are given the dignified treatment that they deserve. The bank is currently working to involve fathers as well, or any kind of male figure in the kids' lives, whether it's the woman's partner or their biological dad, their adoptive dad. There is talk of events that will involve them, and I think that's one of two of the biggest growth areas, two biggest weaknesses of the ministry right now. Things are kind of nebulous, most importantly in training for the sharing of the gospel and for counseling. That stuff doesn't officially happen, but it is continuing to as these women share lives together and ask for advice. So I do believe as time goes on, there needs to be a standardized training so that no harm is done and that things can be shared effectively, the gospel can be shared winsomely, and that there can be both development and discipleship. So there has been talk of events and training programs to help various aspects of life, whether it's resume building, whether it's a Bible study, whether it's just parenting skills classes. There's a lot of, it's not entirely clear at this point what is being planned. And so I think before that happens, it's a new ministry. It started in March, believe it or not. But at this point, they should be deciding what they want their ministry to look like as they move into more of a rehabilitation and development stage. It's extraordinarily important to be able to have a vision and to communicate it to everybody and to be clearly equipped to carry that through. So that is probably my biggest concern about the ministry right now. They can't go on for much longer describing themselves as a relief ministry when they're stepping into more of a rehabilitation development side of things. I think the most important thing that I learned was the beauty of small church ministry. They are able to operate on a small scale in a way that might not seem fancy, but it does amazing things for people who might otherwise be overlooked. And it really gives a chance for the church to talk and commit and grow themselves as they learn from these women and learn about their lives, about their faith journeys, as they are given better perspective on how to love and use the gifts of these women in their communities to grow in their walks in Christ, as they see these women as they walk in Christ, to learn how to share the gospel well. And I love the truth that you can come alongside an established ministry as a church and have it be just as valid, if not more valid sometimes, than creating a program that's entirely your own and might be more creative, but less effective. It's not about us, and I think one of the great things about a small church is sometimes it's so obvious that it cannot be about the Christians that are working as much as those whom they're working with and those whom they're serving. So thank you all. It's been an honor to be in class with you. Blessings.